So why bother? Now you might be wondering if it's worth it. And this is a conversation that I've seemed to have with a lot of different people when it comes to paying somebody or even investing your own time to learn SEO. And I always say it's with anything in life, there's three options when it comes to costs. The first option is to do nothing. Okay. And there's a cost to that. Okay. The cost of doing nothing is probably greater than you think. It's not as easy to quantify though. So people tend to not think about it as a cost, but there is a cost of doing nothing. Imagine in 5 years' time, if most website traffic, and let's say 90% of it is driven by Google, and you didn't put any effort into SEO. Well, I can guarantee you that your competitors, there will be some of your competitors are already onto it. And we'll have a look at this shortly when we use the tool. Competitors are already using SEO to drive traffic to their website. So if you're not, the cost for you is you're going to miss out on that web traffic. And only you know what that cost is, right? The second cost, the second option, which is also a cost, is then for you to learn how to do it yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? If you're interested in it, if it's something that you're passionate about, and you've got a bit of a technical flair to you, there's plenty of SEO courses out there. There's plenty of free resources. There's lots of things that you can do to learn. Even today, what I teach you today will help most of you out if you just start doing some of the things I'm going to teach you today over the next 90 days. So, you could do it yourself, but you've got to be willing to invest your time and a bit. You'll still have to spend a bit of money on courses and some tools, right? Because some of the tools that you need to use are going to, you need to pay for. And so there's a cost to that. The third option is the cost of having somebody like an agency do it for you. And so that's always one of the things that I think a lot of people are a bit worried about. But when I show you how much organic traffic you can actually get from doing good SEO, it'll probably change your mind as to whether or not you think it's a worthwhile investment. So you may be wondering if it's worth it. I think absolutely it is. If you do nothing, you can guarantee you will get left behind. We are, if you think about future-proofing your business, we are in the digital age. People are using digital to search for things, find things, learn about things. This webinar is a classic example, right? You've all tuned into a live webinar today. It's digital. Here we are. G'day, Andrew. Thanks for joining us. All right. So here's some, real big benefits of SEO. First of all, you'll see more traffic if you're ranked higher in search engines. And I'm going to show you that today when I jump into the tool. But pretty much once you get onto page 2 of Google, you don't get any traffic. Okay. So, you need to be page 1. Now, you may not be able to get onto page 1 for your main search term or keyword because it might be super competitive. So for example, we've just launched the new digital marketing company. It would be almost impossible for me to rank on page 1 for the search term digital marketing. And the reason for that is because, in that industry, everybody is already doing SEO. And there's some people that have been doing SEO for 10 years. To overtake them is going to be very difficult. Now, having said that, if I want to get on the first page, I still can. I just need to be smarter about what keywords I choose. And I'm going to show you that shortly. So you've got to work out what traffic you want to get, but you'll definitely get more traffic if you can get the right results showing up in the search engines for different searches. And people are lazy, right? They tend to always click on one of the first results. And so being at the top of the search results will earn you more clicks. Now, depending on what device you're on, typically on Google, there will be about 8 organic results on page 1. And positions 1 to 4 get the majority of the clicks. They get much more clicks than any other positions. And once you're on page 2, well, in fact, if you want to hide, the best place for you to hide is on page 2 of Google because nobody goes there. So, the reality is that, and we'll have a look I'll show you the numbers, right? A lot of people, you might go, well, I go there, but I'll show you the numbers in a second. Thank you. So Tim shared his web address. If you do want me to bring your website up using this tool, it'll show you a lot of information about your website. So don't be afraid. I'm not going to rip it apart or anything. I'm going to actually help you, give you some free tips and advice on what you can do to improve your website. So if you do want me to also do a quick review of your website live, because it's good to have some live examples, and just pop it into the chat box for me. And when we get to that section, I will do that. Okay. So the other thing I love about SEO, it's very leveraged. So unlike social media, so if you think about like if you did an email blast might get you a lot of sales or inquiries one-off, but it only works for that few days after the email blast, and then it slowly peters away. Same thing for an ad. You've got to keep putting the money into the ad for it to continue to deliver. A Facebook post, an Instagram post, a Pinterest post, a LinkedIn post, they disappear very, very quickly. However, if you do a search result for anything, and once again, we'll have a look. I'll show you an article that I wrote back in 2014 that is still on the first page of Google. And, this is the thing, is it's 7 years, nearly 8 years down the track. And something I wrote 8 years ago is still delivering me organic traffic every single month to my website. And this is the benefit. I think it's underrated. It is super leveraged. And if you think about it, it's a bit like planting a crop in a farm. You might, and I think this is why so many people don't do it. You've got to go out and sow the seeds. So you've got to prepare the crop. You've got to sow the seeds. You've got to water them. And then you've got to wait and wait and wait and wait. And, it could be 12 months before you actually see the results from the work that you did. And because of that delay, I think that puts a lot of people off. But what it does is it's a perpetual crop. So once it starts to deliver, it just regrows every single year. It just keeps growing. And especially if you tend to it, if you look after that crop and you trim it and so I'll talk to you a little bit about how you can keep your content relevant and update your website. So those articles or posts or things that you put on your website will continue to rank really well with Google. It's very, very leveraged. So even if you pay an SEO agency, you could stop paying them after 12 months and you'll still get the results for many, many months, if not years to come. And so very, very leveraged way of generating leads. The next thing is it's free search traffic. Well, I say free, but that's a bit tongue in cheek because there is a cost to create content and to do SEO. Like I said, you've either got to invest your time or you've got to pay somebody else to do it. But essentially though, you'll end up getting free traffic because at some point it's so leveraged that the work that you do once is going to deliver so many times over down the track. So if you want free search traffic, the only way to really get it is through doing SEO. And it's such a, it's such a big benefit.